Rook takes b3 taken. b4 now is what black wants to play here. Yes, b4 on the board. ab4 and you take back. Rook takes b4 in this position, not ab4. Yes, Gukesh playing well. Guys, we are on move 30. The position is equal. That just shows how even this game has been until now. Rook a3. But as the time runs low, both the players have to be very careful. Rook e8 played by Gukesh. Another great move. Attacking here. King d2 by Magnus. He had a choice between f2 and d2. He chooses d2. Can Gukesh give a check? Yes. And pick up the g2 pawn. He will. King comes up to d3 and now chop off the pawn on g2. Yes, takes on g2. And Magnus takes the pawn on a5. Now attacking the pawn on d5. Then he will have these central pawns. Gukesh doesn't really care about saving those pawns. He goes rook g3, attacking f3. Magnus defends this pawn. Very sharp game here. And now a very good move again by Gukesh. g5. We are at move 35. 8 minutes for Gukesh. 11 minutes for Magnus. Pawn takes pawn taken here. And now rook takes pawn. Both sides have their trumps. White has a central majority. Black has a kingside pawn that is rushing down the board. Rook to a1 played here by Magnus. And now pawn to h5 played by Gukesh. He's pushing his pawn. And rook a8 trading one pair of rooks. Gukesh takes the rook. Magnus takes back. And king comes to h7. And now you have pawn to e4. The central pawns have begun to roll. Takes. Pawn takes pawn. Oh my god, which pawn is stronger, guys? Is it Magnus's e and d pawns, or is it Gukesh's h pawn, which is now going ahead? h4. The race is on. The race is on, and Magnus now attacks the knight. Gukesh can actually save the knight. He can go knight h5, but he decides to go h3. And look at Magnus. He was surprised there with h3. He takes the knight. h2 played here. You can't come back rook a1 because of rook g1. He pushes his pawn to f7. And now you make a queen, or you play rook g3 check. Both are fine. Gukesh shaking his head there, plays rook g3. He has 1 minute 8 seconds, and guys, we have crossed 40 moves, but now both players down to 1 minute on the clock. It's only 10-second increment. Magnus unsure, plays his king to d2. You can make a queen still. It's still a draw. And Gukesh gets the queen with 15 seconds on the clock, makes a queen. And Magnus also queens the pawn. How exciting is this? Rook g2 check, only move. Only move to draw, but he comes back, queen h6, a blunder. The king is going to run away, Gukesh. And Magnus is going to win this. But has Magnus realized that he's winning? Because he has an extra piece here. There are so many checks. He goes king c2. Of course, Magnus is also worried for his king. Because while he has his battery lined up against the black king, it's black who has the first right to attack with these checks. King b2. And you go check. King a2. Magnus has 20 seconds. Gukesh also same amount of time. He gives a check. King a3. Oh, king is almost mated. King a4. You pick up the knight. But now it's time for Magnus to go on the attack. Look at Magnus there. His king is got a reprieve for just one move. Of course, you begin with a check. Queen h8 check. But is it a mate? Gukesh hasn't seen it yet. Has Magnus seen it? You can see Magnus shaking his head. Plays queen h8 check. King comes up to g6. Magnus down to 14 seconds. Gukesh has 37 seconds. Check. King f5. Gukesh confidently rushing his king up. Now only way to win, queen f8. He goes king e4. And now another beautiful check. He finds it. Rook e6. And now the problem is, if you go king d3, there is queen f3 check. If you go king d5, then there is queen f5 check. The king is getting mated here. Gukesh resigns. Magnus Carlsen wins here. Wow, what a game this was. And immediately tells Gukesh that there could have been some other way that he could have continued. What a